All right, let's talk about AI. For so long, we've thought of it as, just an assistant, something that handles the simple stuff. But that's really starting to change. We're seeing this incredible shift where AI is moving way beyond being just a helper. It's becoming a true creative partner.
You hear it all the time, the big fear that AI is coming for our jobs. But what if we're looking at this all wrong? What if its real purpose isn't to replace us, but to give every single one of us the power to create, to just supercharge our own creativity? That's the big idea we're going to dig into today.
So what are we actually talking about? Well, it's this whole new class of software called AI creation tools. And no, we're not just talking about simple chatbots. These things are active partners. They help you write code, build entire apps, and even make art. We're going to break this down by looking at three main archetypes or roles that AI is stepping into: the co-pilot for the coders, the architect for the entrepreneurs, and the muse for the artists.
Okay, so first up, let's dive into the developer's AI co-pilot. This is all about transforming the world of software development. Think of it like an incredibly smart sidekick for professional coders, helping them work faster, smarter, and honestly, with way less of the usual headaches.
I mean, just look at the difference here. The before is probably familiar to anyone who's ever coded. Hours spent hunting for one misplaced comma, or just writing the same boring, repetitive code over and over again. But with an AI copilot, poof, a lot of that frustration just vanishes. It's a massive leap in efficiency, and it means developers can actually focus on the fun stuff, the big, creative, problem-solving parts of their job.
And this is a really important point. See, a basic tool, something called a linter, is kind of like spell check for your code. It'll tell you if you made a small mistake. But a real AI copilot, like Nenandukwe says, gives you the reasoning behind it all. It doesn't just say, hey, that's wrong. It says, hey, that's wrong, and here's why it could cause a security problem down the line. That right there, that's the difference between just another tool and a real partner.
And here's the crazy part. Look how simple it is to use. You're not learning some complicated new language. The developer literally just types what they need in plain English. It's almost like you're just talking to a coworker and asking them to help you out. It's so much more natural and intuitive.
And boom, seconds later, this pops out. Fully functional, totally valid code that does exactly what you asked for. All the developer has to do is maybe plug in a few project-specific details and they are good to go. This isn't just about saving time, it's about saving mental energy. It takes so much of the grunt work out of building really complex stuff.
All right, so that's the copilot, which is awesome for pros. But what about everyone else? Well, that brings us to our second archetype, the architect's AI architect. This one's a total game changer. If the copilot helps people who already code, the architect empowers, well, anyone with a great idea, even if you've never written a single line of code in your life.
And this new way of working it's absolutely revolutionary. Seriously, forget spending months and a huge budget on development. Now the process is basically this. You describe your app idea. The AI generates the entire thing for you. We're talking the front end, the back end, the database, the whole shebang. Then you can just fine-tune it with some visual tools and poof, deploy it. Just like that. The barrier to creating software has pretty much just been vaporized.
And of course, the market for these tools is just exploding. As you can see, there are a bunch of different ways to tackle this. You've got tools like Lovable, which go all in on AI. You give it a prompt, it gives you a whole app. Then you have tools like Softer, which are more about helping you build something cool on top of data you already have. It's a whole spectrum, really, with something for pretty much every need and skill level.
So this really boils down to two main ways of thinking about it. First, you have prompt to app. That's where you're starting from scratch, creating a brand new app just by describing your vision. Then there's data to app. This is perfect if you already have, say, a big spreadsheet with all your customer info, and you want to turn that into a really slick, professional web app for your team to use.
Okay, now for our third and final archetype. And this one is maybe the most mind-bending of all, the artist's AI muse. This is where AI steps out of the world of pure function, code and business apps, and into the world of art and aesthetics. It's about collaborating with artists to create things we've literally never seen before.
So yeah, we've seen AI build some really practical stuff, but its power to create art is, honestly, just as incredible. You've got these creative technologists who are using AI not to, increase quarterly profits, but to explore what's beautiful, what's interactive, and to tell stories in completely new ways.
So how does this even work? Well, a really key idea here is something called LoRa. Now, the best way to think about it is this. Imagine a generic art AI that knows a little bit about every style and history.
LoRa is a technique that lets an artist take that AI and teach it their specific, unique style. It's like creating a personalized digital apprentice that learns from you and can then create new work in your own artistic voice.
And get this, here's a perfect real-world example. An artist took high-res scans of a friend's paintings, fed them into a model to create their own personal LoRa, and then used that to power a generative art installation that changes in real time. How cool is that? It's this beautiful blend of human creativity and artificial intelligence working together. And the toolkit for this new kind of art is just growing at an insane pace. You have things like stream diffusion for creating live, interactive visuals. And then you get into computer vision models like YOLO, which, fun fact, stands for You Only Look Once. It can actually detect people in objects, which means you can create art that literally watches the audience and reacts to them. The possibilities here are just completely mind-bending.
So, we've looked at the Copilot, the Architect, and the Muse. 3 pretty different but equally powerful ways AI is becoming a partner. So what's the big picture here? Where's all of this headed? You know, the common thread through all of this is pretty clear. It's empowerment. It doesn't matter if you're a professional developer, an entrepreneur with a dream, or an artist. These tools are systematically tearing down the technical walls that used to stand between a great idea and actually making it real. We are seeing the power to create being handed to everyone on a scale that's just unprecedented.
And I think this quote just nails it. Describe it, refine it, ship it. That's the new standard. Think about what that means. The most important skill isn't being able to write the code anymore. It's about having a clear vision. Can you describe what you want? Can you work with the AI to refine it? If the answer is yes, then you can build it. That's the new reality we're living in.
And that really leaves us with one last huge question to think about. When the technical how of creating something becomes almost easy because our AI partners are handling it, our entire focus can shift to the what and the why. With these unbelievable tools, the only real limit is our own imagination. So the question is, what are we all going to build next?